Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moments. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel, thank you. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Renegade Immortal based on novel. Fellow cultivator Chio, long time no see. Chio Siping was surprised. He asked, "Senior knows me?" At the same time, a white-haired youth slowly headed over. Although he looked very slow, in the blink of an eye, he appeared 10 feet before everyone. Chio Siping gawked at the person. He took a deep breath and exclaimed, "It's you." This person was Wang Lin. His gaze swept past the man named Li and the girl, then fell on Chio Siping as he let out a faint smile. With his mind, he could easily see through Chio Siping's scheme. Brother Chio is really in a good mood. With your nascent soul cultivation, you're playing around with 2 core formation juniors. Very interesting. Wang Lin's words were slow, but when they were heard by the man and woman, it was like lightning, making them startled. Those 2 weren't dumb. After hearing Wang Lin's words, their faces immediately darkened. The 2 of them looked at each other, then looked at Wang Lin with grateful expressions as they clasped their hands. They slowly backed away, then shot off into the distance. Chio Siping let out a bitter smile. A cold light flashed across his eyes as he took out a small drum from his bag of holding. He tapped the drum and 2 almost invisible black threads charged into the distance. The black threads were very quick. Just as the black threads were about to catch up, the green light appeared, tracking the black threads. When the green light disappeared, the 2 had already disappeared without a trace. Chio Siping's expression was very ugly. Although he hated Wang Lin's guts in his heart, he took a deep breath and said, "Fellow cultivator, long time no see." Wang Lin looked at Chio Siping. He faintly smiled and said, "Those 2 juniors are from the magic enchanted palace. Brother Chio should be careful from now on." Chio Siping bitterly smiled. That girl was fine, but the man was a core disciple at the magic enchanted palace. If he really let them get away, it wouldn't just be a bit of annoyance, he probably won't be able to take a step into any city controlled by them. But now was not the time to think about those 2. Currently, the person before him was giving off an amorous pressure, causing him to be very cautious. Wang Lin's current strength made his skin crawl. Wang Lin slowly said, "However, with their late-stage core formation speed, if Brother Chio quickly chases after them, you might still catch up." Chio Siping sighed and clasped his hands. "Brother Wang, say what's on your mind. Although our relation isn't deep, we still have been through a bit together." Wang Lin's eyes lit up. "Do you have a map of the Sea of Devils?" he asked. Chio Siping was stunned. After pondering for a while, he shook his head and said, "I don't have a map of the Sea of Devils. If Brother Wang wants one, you can try the treasure pavilions in the main cities. You might have some luck there." A cold light flashed across Wang Lin's eyes. The reason Wang Lin didn't kill Chio Siping was because he was a schemeful person. It was very easy to kill him, but very hard to make him tell the truth. If Wang Lin threatened him with death, the chances of receiving the truth was very low. So when Wang Lin saw Chio Siping, he decided to stop him from killing the 2 juniors to create a sense of urgency in him. Wang Lin's expression remained normal as he calmly said, "Oh, really? Then Brother Chio should come with me to the city. It won't be too late for you to search for them after I obtain a map." Chio Siping pondered for a while and sighed. Wang Lin's scheme was too deep. It all started the moment casually appeared and pointed out Chio Siping's cultivation level to allow the 2 juniors to escape. All of this was within Wang Lin's calculations and Chio Siping unknowingly stepped into Wang Lin's scheme. It looked like Wang Lin purposely forced Chio Siping into a situation where he had to kill the 2 juniors, then saved them to force Chio Siping to tell the truth. Also, the aura that Wang Lin was emitting hinted that if he decided to stay stubborn until the end, then Wang Lin wouldn't mind killing him. According to Wang Lin's understanding of the Sea of Devils, Repeated Ink City was about 10 days north of his current location. Repeated Ink City was one of the 99 major cities of the Sea of Devils. The smaller cities in the Outer Sea just can't compare. Another reason Wang Lin decided to go to Repeated Ink City was that according to the map provided by Chio Siping, there was an ancient transfer array 300,000 miles from the city. During his flight toward the city, Wang Lin collected the core of every beast he passed by. If he met a high-quality spirit beast though, he went around it. 7 days later, Wang Lin became more and more alarmed as he saw the situation in the Sea of Devils with his own eyes. He didn't think that in just a few years, the wild beasts would become so rampant in the Sea of Devils. Just on his way here, He had already seen two high-quality spirit beasts who were on par with spirit-severing cultivators. Fortunately, both beasts were cultivating inside their own territories. Unless Wang Lin purposely bothered them, they wouldn't chase him. Wang Lin's harvest was very good on the road to the city. He obtained many cores on the way. All of them were instantly devoured by the ancient god tactic and absorbed by his nascent soul. Wang Lin arrived at the location of the ancient transfer array. His eyes lit up as he floated in the air and stared at the valley below him. This place was very quiet. There wasn't even any trace of beasts sent here. Wang Lin's expression became serious as he spread out his divine sense. He didn't find anything abnormal, but there was a weird feeling nagging him. After pondering a little, he pointed his finger at his brow and an ape-shaped devil came out. This was the devil he had refined from the soul of the spirit ape, his third devil. In the last few days at the Cloud Sky sect, Wang Lin had gained full control of this devil. The ape was a low-quality spirit beast. Now that it became a devil, it was even stronger. Although it couldn't devour nascent soul cultivators yet, it could easily devour core formation cultivators. The moment this devil appeared, it let out a roar. Its figure became blurry as it charged into the valley. It swept through the valley and found nothing strange. Just as it was about to return, a giant mouth opened on the side of a cliff. At the same time, a large suction force tried to pull the devil in, but it was not a solid existence, so it easily escaped. After pondering for a while, Wang Lin suddenly moved and entered the valley. There was indeed an ancient transfer array inside the valley, but it was too damaged to use. He took out a piece of jade and recorded the ancient transfer array. After doing all of this, his body disappeared and reappeared in front of the cliff. He waved his right hand and the ice condensed back into the ice flame and returned to his hand. Shortly after, the face on the cliff started to move again. Its eyes were fixed on Wang Lin as it let out hostile growls. The more Wang Lin looked at it, the most interested he got. The beast wasn't very strong, only a low-quality spirit beast, so about as strong as a late-stage core formation cultivator, but its ability to hide itself was amazing. Wang Lin goes into closed-door cultivation a lot. If he could have a beast like this guarding him, it would be great. Sadly, this beast's cultivation was limited. But Wang Lin had a lot of cores inside his bag of holding. With them, he could push this beast's cultivation quite a bit. With that, he formed a seal with his hand and started to chant. He shouted, "Break!" The moment the technique landed on the cliff let out a rumbling sound as cracks appeared all over it. The cracks grew larger, until the cliff collapsed. The moment the cliff collapsed, a dark figure shot out to the south. Wang Lin spread out his divine sense and locked onto the beast. He saw a strange beast with a very long beak. This beast gave off a very creepy feeling, especially its mouth, which was at least as long as a person and looked very deadly. Wang Lin rubbed his chin, then casually chased behind it. He pointed his finger to his brow and the devil Shuligua came out to chase it with him and the third devil. Shuligua let out a few roars. The moment he came out, he looked very excited, but as soon as he saw the strange beast, he stopped and secretly thought, was there a mistake? What is this? How is it even uglier than number 2? I should let that idiot, number 3, go. If the beast is weak, then I'll go and steal the credit. The ape devil turned into a blur and charged at the mosquito beast. The mosquito beast flapped its wings once and instantly got away from the devil. Wang Lin clearly saw everything from a distance. He slapped his bag of holding and a bronze mirror came out. He threw out the bronze mirror and formed a seal. A ray of green light suddenly shot from the mirror and landed on the mosquito beast. The mosquito beast's body suddenly stopped, but a dark gas quickly started to come out of its body. The moment that green light touched the dark gas, the green light turned to stone. Shuligua was shocked. He secretly thought that the beast was indeed strong and that he was lucky he didn't go up himself. He secretly backed up when Wang Lin wasn't paying attention and decided that unless Wang Lin forced him, he wouldn't go after the beast. Wang Lin's eyes lit up as he became even more interested in the beast. He changed to a different technique and shot it at the bronze mirror. The mirror suddenly started to turn until the back of the mirror faced the mosquito beast. Soon, an image of the mosquito beast quickly appeared on the back of the mirror. In just a few breaths, the image let out a few roars and charged out from inside the mirror. The beast from inside the mirror unleashed a gust of wind and shot toward the mosquito beast. If you placed the two side by side, it would be hard to tell them apart. This beast's roar caught the attention of the mosquito beast. It turned around and saw the copy of itself created by the mirror, and its mouth turned red. Instead of continuing to run away, it turned around and charged at the copy. Soon, the two arrived near each other. Waves of grey dust flew out in all directions as the two flew around each other, trying to stab each other with their proboscises. Wang Lin stood at a distance and carefully watched the battle between the two beasts. The grey dust seemed to be some sort of technique used by the beast, and its proboscis was its weapon. After pondering for a while, Wang Lin's hand moved across the bronze mirror, and the beast formed by the bronze mirror suddenly slowed down. The mosquito beast caught the copy and mercilessly stabbed it with its proboscis, then started sucking it dry. The copy let out a roar before turning into a green light and returning to the mirror. The animal was stunned, but quickly let out a few roars. The mosquito started at Wang Lin as its mouth turned red again. However, it didn't attack Wang Lin. After a bit, it turned around to escape. Wang Lin's eyes flickered and he said, "Going to run?" With that, he waved his right hand and a small flag appeared in it. There was strong killing intent coming from the flag. This was the single attribute restriction flag. This was Wang Lin's most powerful treasure, and even he didn't dare to refine it to the first level of completion, because if the restriction flag were to reach the first level, divine retribution would strike, and without the protection of the clouds from the Sea of Devils, there was a high chance the flag would turn to dust. As a result, he only reached 98 groups of restrictions before stopping. The beast had already gained some knowledge. The moment it noticed the flag, it was horrified. It quickly moved its wings to fly faster. Wang Lin's eyes were calm as he held the restriction flag in his right hand. He waved the flag and a restriction shot out. The restriction flew like a meteor toward the mosquito beast. In almost the blink of an eye, the restriction caught up to the mosquito beast. The shock in the beast's eyes turned to horror as it released dark gas to block the restriction. However, the gas couldn't compare to the offensive ability of the restriction, so the restriction landed on the mosquito beast without any hindrance. The beast immediately quivered and fell from the sky. Wang Lin caught the beast. Wang Lin was already very careful with the restriction flag and only used 20% of its power. However, he still underestimated the power of a single attribute restriction flag. With just 20% of its power, it was able to injure a beast with power equal to that of a late-stage core formation cultivator. The mosquito lied on Wang Lin's hand with multiple injuries on its body. It was bleeding purple blood, there were cracks on its proboscis, and its eyes were becoming cloudy. The mosquito beast was near death's door. Wang Lin's expression was calm. He bit his finger and a drop of blood fell between the beast's eyes. Then, he took out a few pills from the cloud sky sect and fed them to the beast. After the beast took the pills, its body suddenly shook and released waves of grey dust. Slowly, the injuries on its body healed and even the crack on its proboscis recovered. Shortly after, it made a full recovery and flew out of Wang Lin's hand. It circled Wang Lin a few times and let out a few helpless hisses. Wang Lin slapped his bag of holding and took out a core. The beast's eyes suddenly lit up. It immediately pierced the core with its proboscis. The core shrank at a speed visible to the naked eye and quickly disappeared. The beast's body shook and swelled up quite a bit. Wang Lin rubbed his chin and looked at the beast for a while. He took out a bag of holding and took out all of the cores that were inside it. He gave them to the mosquito beast. The beast's eyes contained a hint of frenzy as it quickly devoured the cores. Every time the beast devoured a core, it would increase in size. Compared to before the beast devoured the cores, it was twice as big. After consuming dozens of cores, the mosquito beast's body was about the size of a calf. As a result, the small hairs on its black body became even more visible. Its wings were more than 10 feet long and created gusts of wind every time they moved. Its proboscis was becoming even thinner and sharper, giving off a very eerie feeling. Even when Wang Lin looked at it, it made the hairs on his body stand. Wang Lin could determine that in the entire trip so far, he hadn't met a beast like this one yet. While they were flying, Wang Lin spent a long time searching through the ancient god's memories. In the end, he found an ancient beast called Mosquito Beast that kind of matched this one. However, no matter if it was size or power, the current beast was much weaker than the one in his memory, but the proboscises were very similar. In the ancient god's memories, the ancient god had only seen the mosquito once. It was at a deserted star system. There were no cultivators living in that system and it was surrounded by grey gas. Tusai was there looking for materials for a treasure. Even with how powerful the ancient gods were, he almost lost his life there. The reason was a mosquito with a very long proboscis. At first, there were only a few and only at the rank of top-quality desolate beast. However, as he went deeper into the system, more and more mosquito beasts appeared, until they formed a sea of mosquito beasts. If the beasts came one by one, then they weren't that big of a deal, but when they started coming in hordes, they became a problem. The mosquito beasts seemed to have a mysterious link with all each other. This would even cause their abilities to increase. As a result, even the ancient god struggled to escape alive. After he escaped, he pondered for a while and decided not to go back. The reason was, when he escaped, countless more mosquito beasts appeared from the nearby planets, making even Chuse's scalp go numb when he looked at them all. Wang Lin looked at the beast below him, especially at its proboscises. Even if this beast wasn't the mosquito beast in the memory, it must be related in some way, or how else could it have the same proboscis? With this in mind, Wang Lin didn't do much during this trip. He always watched coldly in the distance as the beast fought with other beasts. Only in moments of life and death did Wang Lin act to save the mosquito beast. As a result, although there were some delays, the strength of the mosquito beast kept increasing. 8 days later, Wang Lin finally arrived at the city. There were large and small buildings covering the city with countless cultivators inside them. Around the few transfer arrays inside the city, there are even more cultivators. It has to be said that there were a lot of beasts inside the Sea of Devils right now. Only those that had reached a certain cultivation level or those traveling in small groups of 3 to 5 dare to go outside of the city. Most of the cultivators decided to spend a few spirit stones to travel via transfer arrays. That way, at least their safety was assured. As Wang Lin was closing in on the city while standing on top of the mosquito beast, the guards of the city saw them. They all sucked in a breath of cold air as they stared at the creepy mosquito beast that made the hairs on their bodies stand up. Wang Lin stood on the beast and didn't pause at all as he entered the city. The moment he entered the city, 3 divine senses reached toward Wang Lin. Wang Lin frowned and he suddenly disappeared. The moment he reappeared, he was already inside the city and the mosquito beast was inside his bag of holding. As for his cultivation, he deliberately disguised it as mid-stage foundation establishment. With his powerful soul, unless someone was at the spirit-severing stage, they couldn't see through him. The moment he disappeared, 3 figures appeared in the sky. The 3 were dressed exactly the same, the only difference was the color of their clothes, which were black, white, and red. With Wang Lin's experience in the Sea of Devils, he had heard that besides the public shops, there were secret exchanges within large cities as well. These secret exchanges often had a minimum requirement on one's cultivation. Only after one had reached a certain level of cultivation could they join. Wang Lin looked at the shop for a bit. Just as he was walking toward the shop, his expression changed as he noticed a youth running toward him. This youth was very handsome, but looked very nervous and as he ran, he kept looking behind him. Behind him was a middle-aged man who quickly chased after the youth with an evil look on his face. The middle-aged man quickly caught up and tried to grab the youth. The youth tried to dodge and ran into Wang Lin. Wang Lin's body flashed to the side and got out of the way. The youth staggered a few steps and fell to the ground. After he fell, a purple jade fell from his hands. The jade was pure purple and was about the size of a fist. The youth's face revealed a horrified expression. He quickly grabbed the jade and clutched it in his hand. At that moment, the middle-aged man arrived, and because Wang Lin was in his way, he waved his hand to move Wang Lin. Wang Lin frowned. He took a step back and got out of the way of the middle-aged man's hand. The middle-aged man revealed a surprised expression, but he still looked angry as he said, "You dare to block this grandpa's path." Scram! Wang Lin calmly looked at this person. He could see that his cultivation level was only mid-stage foundation establishment. This person's spiritual power was very thin. Clearly, he was forcibly raised to this level via drugs. After the middle-aged man saw that Wang Lin didn't respond, he let out a cold snort and looked at the youth. He viciously said, "Little brat, you sure are brave. You dare to steal your grandpa's jade?" The youth's body quivered. Although his face was filled with horror, he still dared to say, "You're lying. This is my family heirloom." The middle-aged man let out a laugh. He stepped up and kicked the youth. He easily grabbed the jade from the youth and said, "So what if I have my eyes on it? What can you do? And I'm not stealing, I'm buying. Here." With that, he threw a low-quality spirit stone onto the ground. The youth smashed into the ground under the middle-aged man and coughed out a lot of blood. His face was pale as he stared at the middle-aged man with hatred in his eyes. At that moment, a few of the people passing by turned to look, but after they saw the middle-aged man, they all quickly turned around and left. At that moment, an old man walked out of the shop. The old man looked at Wang Lin once and didn't bother looking at him anymore as he started to wipe the plaque. The middle-aged man's face was pale. He looked around and saw that there were many people gathered now. He clenched his teeth and slapped his bag of holding. A flying sword came out and he shouted, "Go!" The flying sword was as fast as lightning, and because the distance was very short, it instantly arrived before Wang Lin. However, just before the flying sword reached Wang Lin, it strangely broke in half and fell to the ground. Wang Lin turned around. This time, he decided to kill. He waved his hand and a restriction quickly shot out and landed on the middle-aged man's forehead. The middle-aged man's body shook as he let out a miserable cry. His body turned into a puddle of blood, leaving behind only his bag of holding and that purple jade, which he didn't have time to put away. The youth from before stared at the purple jade. He quickly grabbed the jade from inside the pool of blood, then carefully looked at Wang Lin for a bit and quickly ran away. The surrounding people revealed shocked expressions and quickly left the location. The old man also frowned as he saw Wang Lin calmly walk toward the shop. He said, "This shop is not open to the public. I'd like to ask fellow cultivator to leave." Wang Lin's face sank. He pointed at the faint spiritual energy on the plaque and asked, "If it's not open to the public, why is this mark here?" The old man was stunned. He quickly became respectful and said, "Please excuse me, senior. Please come inside and we will talk." After entering the shop, the old man made a strange expression. He sighed and said, "Senior, the exchange here will only open in 3 days. Junior suggests you leave the city as soon as possible." Wang Lin calmly asked, "Did the person I just killed have a strong background?" In the sky above the city floated a towering bald man with a giant python wrapped around his body. He had thick eyebrows, big eyes, a fierce-looking face, and wore a sullen expression. On his body, he carried rows of bags of holding and each of them emitted waves of pressure from the spiritual power inside. This person was one of the guardians of Lianmo City. He was originally in closed-door training, but after he saw his disciple's soul blood dissipate, he became furious. Enraged, he came out of closed-door training and sent out that message to try to find the killer. In order to prevent the killer from running away, he sent people to block the gates of the city. He had also gotten the description of the killer from the witnesses, so he spread out his divine sense to search the entire city. But the more he searched, the more doubtful he became. He had already searched the entire city multiple times, but that person seemed to have just disappeared into thin air. He had even searched the secret shop, but still couldn't find that person. So, out of anger, he sent out that divine message. The way he saw it, that person must have used some secret technique to escape, so sending out that divine message was only to vent his anger. However, what he didn't expect was that almost the same moment he sent out the message, the youth appeared 10 feet away from him. This person had a head full of white hair and was very handsome. Exactly the same as the description of the killer. The bald man's pupils immediately shrank. He backed up and immediately suppressed his anger. Although he looked very rude, he was a very cautious person. How would he have reached his current cultivation level and status otherwise? Seeing that the youth appeared by teleporting and the fact that he couldn't find the youth after many scans of the city, he came to one conclusion: the youth not only was a nascent soul cultivator, but had a higher cultivation level than him. After Wang Lin appeared, he didn't say a word. He slapped his bag of holding and took out his restriction flag. A cold light flashed across his eyes as he shouted, "Scatter!" Almost the instant he charged out of the green light, he coughed out a mouthful of blood and his nascent soul appeared above his head with a look of horror and quickly ran away. Below, a strange black sword pierced through the bald man's body's chest. Wang Lin let out a cold smile while standing in the distance. He waved his hand and the black sword teleported back to him. All of this happened in a very short period of time. From the moment Wang Lin appeared and the bald man's nascent soul escaped from his body, it had only been a few breaths of time. At that moment, the expressions of all of the nascent soul cultivators who were watching this battle changed. The 3 other guardians of the city quickly flew out. However, they didn't dare to enter the darkness, but stood outside of it, ready to give their friend's nascent soul a hand. The bald man's nascent soul quickly ran away with a horrified expression. He saw his 3 friends and knew that if he could get to them, he would survive. He never thought that he would have angered a monster who would attack him without even listening to him. He forgot that he was trying to avenge his own disciple and became hesitant after finding out that Wang Lin was a nascent soul cultivator as well. If Wang Lin was any weaker, the bald man would have brutally killed him without a word. Seeing that he was about to exit the darkness, he revealed a look of joy. However, the three friends suddenly revealed shocked expressions and charged towards him. The bald man was stunned, but he suddenly felt a giant gust of wind. He subconsciously raised his head only to see that a beast had appeared above him, sending out gusts of wind. The most noticeable part of this beast was its creepy and dangerous-looking proboscis. At that moment, 99 restrictions came out of the restriction flag and blocked the path of the three nascent soul cultivators. The three cultivators couldn't help but pause for a moment. The restriction left as quickly as it came. After it disappeared, the scene before the three of them was something they could never forget. They only saw that beast's dangerous-looking proboscis stab into the head of the bald man's nascent soul. The bald man's nascent soul started to become smaller and smaller until he was completely devoured by the mosquito beast. A few strips of gold appeared on the beast's original greenish-black body. After looking at the three nascent soul cultivators with a cold gaze, it beat its wings and quickly returned to Wang Lin's side. Wang Lin waved his right hand and put away the restriction flag and bronze mirror. The bald man's bags of holding and trident all landed in his hand as well. After he examined the bags with his divine sense, he took out a token with the word "secret" on it. Then, he looked at the three nascent soul cultivators and disappeared without a word. Wang Lin stayed at an inn inside the city for 3 days. During this time many people came to visit him. He put away his usual indifferent attitude and got to know many people. Most of these nascent soul cultivators weren't from the city. They came to participate in the secret exchange. Wang Lin's battle with the bald man caught all of their attention. After all, strength was what mattered in the Sea of Devils, and Wang Lin was able to easily defeat the bald man. His display of strength was what made all of these nascent soul cultivators personally come to visit. The 3 days passed and it was now the day of the secret exchange. That morning, a core formation cultivator came and politely gave Wang Lin an invitation. Then, the core formation cultivator led Wang Lin to the shop. After the old man from the shop saw Wang Lin, he quickly became very respectful. He carefully led Wang Lin to a wall, then tapped it a few times. After that, the walls rippled like calm water that just had a stone dropped into it. After doing all of that, he took out a robe and gave it to Wang Lin. Wang Lin stood there, but didn't step forward. He sent his divine sense inside. He found that there was a separate space inside with a very beautiful loft. There were 7 or 8 cultivators inside, all wearing the same robes. Some were sitting by themselves while others were talking to each other. When Wang Lin sent in his divine sense, only a middle-aged scholarly-looking man opened his eyes. No one else seemed to have noticed Wang Lin's divine sense. This scholarly man was also the only person who wasn't wearing a robe. The scholarly man's expression remained the same, but a hint of surprise flashed across his eyes. Wang Lin was startled. When he scanned everyone with his divine sense, he found that everyone present was at the early stage of nascent soul, everyone except the scholarly man. Although the scholarly man seemed like he was at the early stage of nascent soul, in reality, he was already at the peak of the late stage of nascent soul and was only one step from the spirit-severing stage. Wang Lin didn't know what technique this person cultivated, but the scholarly man's divine soul had to be very powerful to be able to detect Wang Lin. After withdrawing his divine sense, Wang Lin took the robe and put it on. Then, without a word, he walked into the wall. When he appeared inside the new area, he found a table to sit down at by himself and closed his eyes. This action immediately caused the few cultivators who wanted to talk to him change their minds. Although Wang Lin's eyes were closed, his divine sense was keeping close track of the scholarly man. From the moment he walked into the room, the scholarly man was constantly staring at him. After a while, several more cultivators came. All of them were wearing one of those robes to hide their faces, and some were even surrounded by a black fog. After seeing this, Wang Lin realized that these people didn't want anyone to recognize them. If they revealed who they were, then when they showed off their treasures, it would cause them a lot of trouble. However, many cultivators here weren't hiding their faces. It seemed they were confident in themselves and weren't afraid of revealing their identities. But Wang Lin still had doubts in his mind. How could there be so many nascent soul cultivators gathered here, in this small shop in Lianmo City? He secretly looked around and saw more than 30 tables around. Could there be more than 30 nascent soul cultivators participating in this secret exchange? Although he had some doubts in his heart, his expression was completely calm. After waiting for a long time, one cultivator traded spirit stones for the bell. No one else made an offer. Soon, it was the next person's turn. Slowly, various magic treasures, pills, and scrolls were displayed. All of them had high prices. It just showed how precious the items sold here were. Any one of these items could be placed at the highest floor of the treasure refining pavilion and be sold at an astronomical price. Most of these cultivators here only exchanged. The things they liked the most were pill and treasure materials. Of course, if there were complete pills and treasures, they were good too. After that was spirit stones. If it was before the fog surrounding the Sea of Devils disappeared, then there wouldn't be much use for spirit stones. Their value was low as they were only sometimes needed for cultivation. After the fog disappeared and beasts began to cover the Sea of Devils, people started to use transfer arrays more and more. There were two types of transfer arrays. One was ancient transfer arrays, made by ancient cultivators. Only a few remained and many of them were damaged, so very few could be used. Depending on the amount of spirit stones used, they could teleport someone at least 1 million kilometers away. However, to use them, you have to use a top-quality spirit stone, so no one in the Sea of Devils could use them. After all, top-quality spirit stones were almost extinct. Even if someone had some, very few people would be willing to use one on a transfer array. The other type was normal transfer arrays. These were much simpler. Their cost ranged from 10 low-quality spirit stones to less than 100 mid-quality spirit stones. At most, they could teleport several hundred kilometers. Because they were so cost-effective, they were the preferred method of travel among cultivators. But as a result, the consumption of spirit stones increased and so did their value. After a number of exchanges, it was now the turn of a cultivator wearing a raincoat. His head was lowered as he said, with a hoarse voice, "I don't have many things to sell, only some ancient texts. If any fellow cultivators are interested, you can exchange for them, but due to the nature of these texts, I can't allow you to have a closer look." With that, he slapped his bag of holding and 7 or 8 pieces of jade flew out. The colors of these jades were all very faded and some of them even had cracks. They each released an ancient aura, showing how old they were. Surrounding these jades was a shield of green light. Clearly, this was a technique used to prevent people from checking inside them. This is an ancient beast catalog. This is ancient cultivator world secret text. This is an ancient transfer array production recipe. This is. I will only take cores of mid-quality spirit beasts. 5 cores for one of them. With that, he waited for the people to inquire about the texts. All of the people in the room frowned. Even 5 of those jades for one mid-quality beast core wasn't really worth it. How could the reverse be true? After taking the jade, Wang Lin scanned it with his divine sense and put it away. At the same time, he took out 5 cores of mid-quality spirit beasts. The man wearing the raincoat quickly caught the cores and let out a sigh. He didn't pursue the matter about breaking the green light. After waiting for a while and seeing that no one else was interested, he put away the pieces of jade. The moment Wang Lin acted, 3 other cultivators started to pay extra attention to him. One of them was the scholarly man. The other 2 had their coats on. Their eyes lit up when they raised their heads. After a short period of silence, another cultivator walked up to present his items. Soon, it was Wang Lin's turn. At this moment, everyone became silent and turned to look at Wang Lin. Wang Lin's actions revealed that his cultivation was not simple. These cultivators were very curious about what Wang Lin would sell. After pondering a little, Wang Lin slapped his bag of holding. Several mid-quality spirit beast cores and a few treasures he never used flew out. Seeing that Wang Lin only brought out some very common items, they became very disappointed. However, their expressions all remained the same. After all, each of them had reached the nascent soul stage. Having cultivated for so long, they were very skilled at hiding their expressions. Wang Lin slowly said, "I'd like to trade for a map of planet Suzaku. The more complete, the better." The moment the words came out, the expressions of all of the cultivators became strange. After a long time, one of them said, "Fellow cultivator, with just these things, it would be very hard to trade for a map. I'm afraid you won't even be able to trade for a map of just the Sea of Devils." Wang Lin calmly said, "Oh? Then what do I need to trade for a map?" The scholarly man let out a warm smile and said, "Fellow cultivator must be new to the Sea of Devils, so I'll explain it. Not just the Sea of Devils, but for any cultivation country, a map is very important. After all, planet Suzaku is simply too large. If you don't have a map, You won't know where to go. As for the Sea of Devils, it is even more important. A copy of the map of Sea of Devils would cost 100,000 high-quality spirit stones, and no one would even take low-quality or mid-quality spirit stones. With just fellow cultivators' treasures, it is simply not enough. As for the map of planet Suzaku, it's not something any individual can own. If fellow cultivator wants, I have a map of the Sea of Devils. However, it is only a low-quality one with a lot of unexplored areas. Wang Lin pondered a little and asked, does fellow cultivator have a general wide area map of the countries surrounding the Sea of Devils? The scholarly man warily smiled as he shook his head and said, I don't have that kind of map. A cultivator in a robe sitting in the corner suddenly said, I have one. This was one of the cultivators whose eyes lit up when Wang Lin acted earlier. Wang Lin's gaze fell on the person. The cultivator in the robe slowly said, high-quality map of the Sea of Devils with the 4 surrounding continents, including 148 countries. What price are you willing to offer? An hour later, the secret exchange ended and everyone left. Wang Lin left the room and took off the robe. A beautiful female attendant was already there waiting for him. After seeing Wang Lin, she respectfully said, Senior, my master said he has a meeting with you, so he asked me to take you to him. Wang Lin's heart shook and he became more alert, but his expression remained calm. He looked at the female. She was not a virgin and was only at the mid-stage of foundation establishment. However, her spiritual power was every week. She clearly reached this level through a lot of drugs. Wang Lin's heart already had some guesses about the situation. Under the woman's guidance, Wang Lin arrived at an inconspicuous residence in the middle of the city. She stopped outside the door and said, Senior, please enter. Junior will stand guard out here. Wang Lin didn't say anything pointless and walked inside. He had already sent his divine sense inside. He saw an old man with a hooked nose wearing a red shirt. He was sitting there with a green teapot beside him. When the old man saw Wang Lin enter, he laughed and said, Come sit, fellow cultivator. This is a high-quality tea from the country of Hu Fen. I made this tea especially for entertaining friends. Wang Lin clasped his hands and sat across from the old man. He didn't even look at the tea, but started to check the surroundings. He could easily see that this old man was at the mid-stage of nascent soul. The old man didn't mind and personally poured 2 cups of tea. He sipped his tea and said, What is fellow cultivator's name? Wang Lin smiled and said, Wang Lin. The old put down his cup and gently smiled. Fellow cultivator Wang, my name is Ju Wuda. Wang Lin was stunned as he looked at the old man. The old man saw Wang Lin's expression and asked, Has fellow cultivator Wang heard of me? Wang Lin shook his head and calmly said, No, it's just that fellow cultivator has the same name as a friend of mine, so I lost myself for a second there. The old man burst out laughing, but secretly thought, what does this person mean? Did he purposely act like this to mess with me? The old man couldn't figure out what Wang Lin was thinking, but he laughed and said, If there is an opportunity, I would like to meet this person. With that, he slapped his bag of holding. He took out a bag of holding and said, Fellow cultivator Wang, this is the map I was talking about. I'll display it to you. After you check it and make sure that there is no problem, we can talk about our deal. The jade released a gentle light as the old man sent out a bit of spiritual power. Immediately, the jade displayed a giant map before Wang Lin. This map was extremely detailed. It even had detailed descriptions of the level of damage of each of the ancient transfer arrays. It also had details of the situation surrounding each area and even the names of all of the nascent soul and higher cultivators. These were not the focus, but it even had detailed information of where each ancient transfer array linked to. Just this point would cause the price of this map to skyrocket. On the map, it clearly showed 4 continents surrounding the Sea of Devils. On the continent to the left, he could see the very small word, Jiao. The old man casually pointed at a location on the map. The map suddenly disappeared and showed the area where the old man pointed to. The entire map looked like if someone was looking at that location from a bird's eye view. Then, the old man waved his right hand and the map disappeared. He put the jade back into his bag of holding and stared at Wang Lin. Wang Lin's gaze was calm as he looked at the old man. He already had the urge to kill this person. As long as he killed him, he could get the piece of jade and quickly return to the country of Jiao. The old man immediately retreated a few steps and said, Fellow cultivator, this jade is very old and will easily break. To prevent it from breaking, I have already linked it with my divine sense. Wang Lin's gaze was calm as he slowly said, What do you want? The old man clenched his teeth and said, "As long as you help me kill one person, I'll give you this piece of jade." A cold light flashed across Wang Lin's eyes. He asked, "What level of cultivation?" The old man quickly said, "Late-stage nascent soul, half a step into spirit severing." Wang Lin stood up and calmly said, "Now? Lead the way." The old man was stunned. After hesitating for a while, he said, "Okay. Fellow cultivator Wang, follow me." In the blink of an eye, the two left Lianmo City. 3,000 kilometers from the city was a basin. After a short period of time, the two arrived at the place. Wang Lin spread out his divine sense and let out a sneer in his heart. He had already realized that something was wrong. The old man seemed to already know him very well. The female attendant immediately walked up to him when they met. He already thought that there was a scheme behind all of this. Wang Lin purposely used the friend with the same name phrase to test the old man, and with his powerful divine sense, he noticed that the old man's emotions flustered a little. Looking at things now, it was exactly as he predicted. Under the basin was a formation hiding 4 nascent soul cultivators. Wang Lin calmly said, "It is regrettable that the bald man died, or the 6 of you could perfectly use the no-escape killing formation." The hook-nosed man's expression suddenly changed, and at that moment, Wang Lin's G-realm moved. The old man didn't even have time to break the jade. He could only see the red light before him. This video will end here. Thank you for watching.